Yo folks, and welcome to the channel. In today's video, we'll be talking about the latest gacha games, mobile titles, and games coming to June and more. Let's jump right into this. First things being Diablo Immortal coming to mobile and PC on June 2nd. Now, a lot of you might be wondering, why am I covering a non-gacha game for the first title? The reason for that is because a lot of AAA studios or bigger studios are starting to land games on the mobile front. And as far as the gameplay goes, Diablo is one of those games where you fight hordes of enemies in order to get more epic loot, epic skills, test how far you can go with the builds that you have in order to tackle the hundreds, if not possibly thousands of enemies against endless wave of horde of coming at you. Then we also have Grimlight that possibly will release in June. Huge thank yous to Kenyu Games for providing the gameplay right here. Sort of reminds me of something like Illusion Connect in some ways, whereas Illusion Connect they sort of stand still, but here the heroes are going to be running up to the enemies and they're going to be doing certain attacks with the AoE ranges. You have your classic waifus and husbandos doing certain things, facing off against the enemies. I'm really keen to see if this actually releases in June. Might be a surprise hit depending on how it flows in the monetization. Grimlight, there we have it. Then we also got Hero's Crown. Now, when I look at the gameplay and the things of it, it seems to be like a copy-paste CN title. So be a little bit wary. It has like that AFK arena mechanic to it, where I believe like a lot of the units are going to be idling and tackling the opponents in that way. But possibly releasing in June. Look forward to this one in case you're interested with gods and all the different mechanics in this one. Then we also have eFootball 2022 coming at you on June 2nd. Now some of you might be wondering, what exactly is the point of an eFootball game coming to the mobile fronts? There's going to be a lot of prize pools and tournaments involved with this game, so you're going to be seeing like thousands, 20,000s of dollars just being thrown out in order to win the grand prize on these tournaments. And the reason for that is because usually it costs like an inexorbitant amount of money just to build the teams, because there is like a heavy loot box gacha system in order to collect the best players within these football league series. So it's going to be brought to you by Konami, and I'm sure it's going to be a surefire hit on certain fronts. I know FIFA is doing the same thing, so maybe more sports games are going to be entering the mobile fronts. I just wanted to keep this in your guys' radar because I know this is going to be a long time thing coming into the mobile fronts. We're just going to be getting a lot more sports games. Then we also have the Disney's Mirrorverse coming out on June 23rd. Now, some of you might be wondering, hey Borg, why exactly am I going to be interested in Disney's Mirrorverse? Well, it's going to be brought to you by Kabam, and thank yous to Gaming Mobile for accentuating the gameplay right here. And Kabam producing the game means it's going to be more action oriented, and they're known for, I believe, Marvel Contest of Champions, brought to you by Satan the Legend himself. And a lot of the times when Kabam makes a game, they're pretty good about like the actual mechanics and how they take care of it. So I'm sort of looking forward to how this actually gets produced, because most of the Disney games, they're sort of idle, there's not much going around, but the fact that you can control characters and it's a bigger IP, usually Kabam is just good about producing their games. We'll see how this goes, if it's going to be a hit. I'm super excited to see where it goes at the end of the day. Then we also have Uma Musume coming to June 27th for CN and TW, I believe. And what's really exciting about this one is that this game is one of the best simulation games I have ever played in my lifetime. Reason for that is there's an in-depth coaching mechanic where you're going to be raising your horse idol waifus into the peak and most caliber. They can race into all these different ways. And if you're wondering why is this franchise such a huge hit, because there's never been a game of this caliber and quality on the mobile fronts. I mean, the anime aesthetic to it is pretty obvious, but it's also nice to see a simulation game that properly pays homage to RPG mechanics, where you can actually increase like chase mechanics, speed, endurance. You know, there's also tactics. There's a lot of interwoven mechanics if you can actually understand what's going on in the gameplay. There's a popularity system. There's all sorts of things. There's a reason why this is popular, outside of the fact the waifus look amazing and the idol mechanics are pretty pog as well. But yeah, Uma Musume coming to TW and CN on the June 27th. That is going to be pretty cool to see. Then we also have Ensemble Stars that's going to be releasing hopefully sometime in June. If not, it's going to be a cool Husbando rhythm game. That's something to look forward to. I think it's just really honest to God, pure goodness that everyone loves, because rhythm games are always a hit classic on the mobile front. Then we also have Dynasty Legends 2 that's coming. I don't know if there's going to be a gacha mechanic to this one, 1v100, where you're taking down almost an unlimited amount of enemies in order to capture certain points within the map. I know Dynasty Legends is just one of those games that I don't want to call it Battle Royale, but at least Royale themed sort of game where you have one character just facing off against like hundreds of opponents. It's probably going to have like a gacha mechanic with the heroes that you can collect. Then we also have Art of Gear Fusion coming to June 14th for all platforms. I believe that entails mostly mobile devices. If there's a PC client that comes out on Steam, that would be huge poggy woggies. But the most important thing is this game looks absolutely beautiful. It reminds me of something from Octopath Traveler, except all you have is like waifus and these crazy mech outfits. At the same time, I believe there is like actual mechs and husbando units, but the limelight mostly goes to the waifus and their animations and how crazy and colorful everything looks. I think this is going to be a surprise hit title for a select few. It's kind of rough on them because they're releasing on the same month as Diablo Immortal, but for anime fans, I know Art of Gear Fusion has plenty of waifus that you can collect, and I think people will really enjoy this one, that is for sure. Then we also have Three Kingdoms Hero Wars, I think I'm saying that right. The gameplay of it reminds me of something like Princess Connect, but honestly, it's probably just another auto battler RPG, CN generals that used to take place in the areas. So something like this interests you, maybe it comes out in June. At the end of the day, just another mobile title with gacha mechanics that you can sort of play in case you want to do so. Then we also have DC Heroes and Villains. Now this game is just going to have like the DC and villains skinned on a bejeweled game. So if you like the DC universe and those kind of things, and you were sort of bored with like Candy Crush or Bejeweled not having enough insane action for your Superman, then I guess this game is for you. It's probably going to be something that I see like my grandma play in case she likes DC, casual sort of play. I am not sure if this is going to have gacha mechanics, but I know there's a lot of DC fans out there. So in case you want to see Batman crush some jewels, I'm sure people look forward to this one. Then we also have Harry Potter Magic Awakened. Now when it comes to this title, it's going to be a card collecting RPG. And maybe reminds some people of like Seven Deadly Sins in some ways, because technically speaking, Seven Deadly Sins Grand Cross is a card collector. The parts that it shines is in the PvP areas, and I think this will be a cool one. Now we're rolling into the sections of the videos with the closed betas and games already out. So in the closed betas, you can play these right now. If you want a recommendation from me, Torchlight Infinite is a fun one, and Otaku Adventure, maybe some EA Sports Tactical Football tickles your fancy. Then we also have Counterside Global that is going to be out right now. What's really nice is there's plenty of quality of life that's already inserted within the game, and the gameplay is pretty nice as well. I can't wait to cover it more. I think I might be switching my main game to Counterside. I think it's definitely that worthy just because of how much fun I'm having just looking at the animations and all the different waifus that you can collect. Counterside definitely being the one to look out for 2022 for me. Then we also have Ni no Kuni that released this week as well, or the past month. And what's really interesting to me is they're holding off the NFT stuff for a little bit later. And they're also foobarring their reviews by providing prizes to people who do reviews on the Discord. That's a little sus to me. I don't know why Ni no Kuni is doing that, because it's going to be a successful game. But hey, watch out for this doing some background sussy things. That's all I have to say with Ni no Kuni, alright? Then we also have Honkai Star Rail, one of the upcoming games that I'm desperately looking forward to. I had some time to research this game, and I have to say the turn-based mechanics on this is unparalleled. If you've ever played a turn-based RPG and you wanted something with a little bit of a different spin, but nothing too crazy to change the formula, I think Honkai Star Rail is definitely for you. And if you love the anime aesthetics, it's definitely there. There's plenty of waifus who are hugely lovable. The story is mind-blowing. It doesn't make sense. They take hacking and universe building into another level. I was just like, I'm on drugs when I was delving into this game. I'll probably have some footage if I'm allowed to share it sometime in the future, but yeah, I like Honkai Star Rail, and this video isn't sponsored or anything. I just really like it and I wanted to talk about it. The next thing being is Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis, releasing late September in 2022. The biggest things with Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis is it's going to be releasing Final Fantasy VII in snippets. So you're going to be getting different story segments of the Final Fantasy VII series. So if you've never had the time to play the full out RPG and all the different arcs that take place, this mobile game is going to give you the best flavors and sort of engrossing into that format. And it's also, I believe, going to have like this aesthetic to it. So it's going to be really cool once it finally releases in September. Just wanted to talk about it because I think it's really cool. Look at Zach right there in the classic old days. Then we also have Wuthering Waves. Now, a lot of you might be wondering, what is Wuthering Waves? Why should I care about this game? The reason why you should care is because Wuthering Waves is brought to you by the same people who created Punishing Gray Raven. And the reason why that's so important to me is because Punishing Gray Raven really knows how to produce a quality level game as far as action RPG mechanics goes. And this set in an open world is really hype in my opinion, because Punishing Gray Raven was really good combat wise. The thing that it could have used the most is world building mechanics and, you know, just more of an open world to sort of explore. And the fact that Kuro Games is willing to expand to an open world in such a short time period, and of course including amazing waifus and such a world that seems, how do I say this, a cross between like cyberpunk and fantasy. I'm really curious to see, because Genshin Impact is all about like fantasy building, where this one has more of fantasy and technology involved. So where it goes is just like the sky's the limit, and I'm sure they're definitely going to build something crazy, because the story in Punishing Gray Raven is pretty trippy on its own. Then we also have Zenless Zone Zero. I just wanted to cover this one because it's one of the ones that I'm also hyped for. They announced some of the characters like Anby Damaro, Nicole Damaro, and Billy the Kid. It's surprising how Anby Damaro and Nicole Damaro are related, because one of them's a lolly, the other one's definitely a mommy milky waifu, if you know what I mean. The reason why I'm looking forward to this one was, one, the soundtrack sounds amazing. I know this game looks visually amazing, but the fact that they can release a like classic OST hit that I play on my phone regularly, I'm just like jam into this one. That is really nice, because there's not a lot of games that pay attention to the soundtrack, and the fact that they can nail it and just give me characters that have so much personality within like the first go. You know, this trailer's only been out 2 weeks. I'm super hyped. I know it's not coming out in May, hopefully sometime in the future. I don't know if it's 2022, because I feel like that's a little bit too soon for such a caliber game to release, especially since they have Honkai Star Rail around the corner. They have so many big franchises just coming out of nowhere, Genshin Impact being one of the ones that's been a successful hit. So Hoyoverse just killing it with all these surprise titles coming at you. Then we also have the new games in JP. I just want to cover their calendars because sometimes there's something interesting rolling around. I know And Zero is going to be a hit romancing otome style game, in case you want to play that one. And then there's going to be Diablo Immortal eFootball. And not many new things. There's like the Disney Mirrorverse Warrior things, and then the Sanrio Miracle Match, which is supposed to be a battle royale of sorts. But outside of that, nothing else. There's this Goodbye Layla, that's an RPG with animation and manga brought to you by GamePub. I saw that one, it looks a little bit interesting. And the same things with Ultima JP. If you look at the calendars, pretty similar and nothing too crazy coming out. Then we have the pre-registers. I just want to show the top ones, being Grand Theft Auto Trilogy. I know this is going to have some works. It's probably not going to have like gacha mechanics, but like I said, AAA studios entering the markets is really exciting. Diablo Immortal, Battle Royales with Valorant, most of all Wuthering Waves, Zenless Zone Zero, and Honkai Star Rail impacting the top 10 as one of the games that we look forward to. I know it's not May, but damn, I'm just super hyped for those games. Not to mention, pre-registration is now live for Full Metal Alchemist Mobile. So what's really nice with this one, if you haven't seen the latest trailers for it, I think it looks really cool. I believe there's like some way where you can enter a giveaway where you can win a PS5 for pre-registering or doing something. It's brought to you by like Amazon and stuff. But hey, this game is going to be pretty hype. It has a lot of things where it's like a tactical RPG, but it has like anime aesthetic that's super high quality and I absolutely love. So I can't wait for this one to release in JP in 2022. Then we also have the new trailers for character motions on Black Clover. We have Magna right here showing off all of his different fire skills. Look at him rolling in. Honestly, this game looks so beautiful. I'm hoping this gets a global release sometime soon, but the fact that they have this much polish on the animation level has me really hyped. Then we also have Noelle right here, looks absolutely stunningly beautiful. And the biggest things is the Black Clover twist that's happened as of recent is insane. No spoilers, but to the Black Clover fans, we're definitely eating good with the latest lore that has been dropped. And I will leave you with this image right here. with Nikke, Goddess of Victory, providing us an image for the month of June on this lovely calendar right here. All the different waifus. If you haven't known, Nikke is probably the game that I'm hyped for, the game that I'm looking forward to the most. Nikke, Goddess of Victory can't come soon enough. Quick surprise, I started an Instagram. So if you ever want to see my IRL face, now you can. Also, all the people that I met at Anime Riverside 2022, you guys were absolutely amazing. It was so cool just to take pictures and cosplay. It was my first time going to a convention in this way. And huge thank yous to the Anime Riverside team for allowing me to volunteer, meeting Yuri Lowenthal, the voice actor for Sasuke and Spider-Man, and so many things. Not to mention, I went to a maid cafe and saw a performance that was amazing. I highly recommend it if you can. Got this in Japan, and to repeat it once again in the States or in the Americas was just absolutely awesome. Also, it was just really nice to see all of the DGen things and just to talk to anime fans. I just can't get enough of it IRL. There's not enough anime in my life. I just need more and more. But anyways, if you made it this far in today's video, consider subscribing, dropping a like, leaving a comment, follow me on Twitch, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram for more stuff like this and exclusive content that you can't see anywhere else. Thanks so much, and see you guys in the next one.